Okay, so I'm just going to make a bit of an update about the situation in London as it stands. It is now almost 11 p.m. UK time. This incident happened around lunchtime today, so there's been information trickling through all day. There was a police briefing about 10 minutes ago. The acting police commissioner, Mark Rowley, they're in the process of getting a new commissioner, said that it probably was an Islamist attack, but as is usual in these cases, there was limited information he could give. He did say, though, that a number of French students were among the injured, and there's at least 12 people critically injured in hospitals. So I hope they pull through. I imagine the loved ones are concerned for them at this time. Four people are dead. One of them includes the attackers, so that's three people killed from the attacker. The attacker was shot dead by police. Now, it's strange that they haven't mentioned his name, and some people say that's a bit unusual because they can see his body. He's been shot, but I think it's because they need to assess further information if he's linked to anyone else. And apparently, DNA results can take up to a week, so they might know who he is. There was mixed reports saying that Abu Izzadin, I think I mentioned in the previous video, was involved. On one forum, I saw a guy reply to my comment saying he used to know Abu Izzadin. He was a former Islamist himself, and it wasn't Abu Izzadin. He argues because he's too much of an ego, he's too big a name. Usually, these sort of lone wolf attacks are unknown characters. Um, I think that one of the main questions is going to be the security issue. Here's the thing, I really don't think it is possible to guarantee, absolutely guarantee, 100% security in a city as big as London. 9 million people, many important buildings, one of the world's most important cities. It's always going to be a target. This is a serious attack. It's classed as a major attack because of multiple casualties. It's not anywhere near the scale of 7/7, thankfully. We're talking about three people killed. 7/7 was 52 people killed, not including the four attackers. Um, So if you look at it that way, this ranks around fourth at the moment. The London bombings of 2005 was the worst modern terrorist attack in London. The Hyde Park bombings and the Regent Park bombing in 1981, 1982, I think, which was an IRA attack, 11 killed. The Harrods bombing, 1983, another IRA attack, 6 killed. So at the moment, this would rank about fourth. Um, there was other IRA attacks. Unless I'm mistaken, it's around four, so it's pretty serious. I wouldn't be surprised if that toll rises slightly because some of the people injured are injured critically. I don't think there's any way to stop something like this happening because you can't ban every car in London. Even if you put up bollards, you can't put them all over the city. I mean, Westminster Bridge is close to the Houses of Parliament, but as numerous MPs have said today, they don't want to live in a bubble. They don't want to live in this fortress when they're representatives of the people. And it's one thing that is really, I would argue, almost unique about the British system that we have this really, our Parliament really is in the heart of the people in the sense that it's, of course, there's security there and we have world class security, but MPs mix in with people in a way that you wouldn't necessarily see in other countries. Um, Indeed, it was one MP, Mary Cray, who herself went to the nearest tube station to inform them of what was happening. Because the security in that area is usually such that apparently tourists were getting on about their business in other parts of London, oblivious that this was even going on. Um, but like I say, I don't think something like this can be prevented, unfortunately. Um, the thing is, I think we have to be grateful for the security services because most of the men and women who do this are completely anonymous and they have foiled attack after attack after attack. Unfortunately, today was a successful attack in the sense that the terrorist got through. But we should be grateful for the work that the security services do. I mean, that's of no comfort to the people who've lost loved ones today, including the police officer. But um, when you look at other parts of the world, the sort of constant terrorist outrages that go on in other parts of the world, we are grateful that our security services are so efficient and of a such a high standard. I'd like to say thank you to the international community. I mean, anyone who's sort of expressing concern for the UK at the moment, thank you for that. I would also say I am pleased to see that Nicola Sturgeon has been diplomatic. She has called off the referendum debate for now. Now, it's not often I praise the SNP, but on this occasion, I give them credit for that. That is the right thing to do. I think she recognises that it would be inappropriate to be talking about breaking up the country after a serious terrorist attack when we should be coming together as a country. But there are going to be questions about this. I don't think it's unsafe to say this was an Islamist attack. I think everything indicates that. Now, the natural follow up question is, of course, the work of the security services is essential, but for me, it isn't just about de radicalization programs and looking at potential terrorists. It's also looking at our attitude to, for example, hate preachers. Now, these guys will say, oh, we condemn terrorism, but they will stand at Hyde Park Corner, they will stand outside Finsbury Park Mosque, and they will spread hatred. I believe we need to get a lot more rigid on these people. The free speech argument wears thin when you consider that speech is being used to incite violence. Now, that is where I believe that is an abuse of free speech. And I think that we are still far too lenient with hate preachers in this country. I'm not saying we're lenient with Islamists. I mean, that is testified by the fact that there hasn't been a successful attack in 12 years. And I will credit Theresa May as Home Secretary. I think she's a strong Home Secretary. She got rid of, forget his name, the Egyptian hate preacher, who successive Home Secretaries have tried their best to do that. Theresa May done it. And as Prime Minister, she's making it clear that she's taken a very hard line on this, as she should. Um, this is something that we all expected. I mean, Paris, Brussels, Berlin, Nice. Um, it was only a matter of time before London was hit, and I think that it's conceivable that there will be more attacks, if not this year or next year, within the next 5 years. Um, if you think of it this way, this is how I see things playing out. The 70s, 80s, and 90s, London was dealing with Irish Republican terrorism. Now, the 2000s to 2010s, and probably for quite a considerable time to come, we're dealing with pan Islamism. I mean, it was interesting that the police spoke about international terrorism. That usually means pan Islamism because there's international links, obviously, with that. Um, so it'll be interesting to see who they do name British national if it's a foreign jihadist. I would not at all be surprised if it is a Western convert. Although they said this was a black guy, I don't know if that means Abu Izzadin is black. I don't know. You know, we have to be careful about the specific information, but in terms of it being an Islamist attack, I don't think anyone's in doubt about that at this point. Um, and we shouldn't overreact to this. Let's put things in context. Three people are dead. You know, thousands of people die on our roads every year. Um, so, in the grand scheme of things, three people in a city of 9 million, it's a very small proportion. But what terrorism does is it reminds us that there are people out there who want to hurt us and hurt our way of life. That's why I think it has a different impact than, say, flooding would have. It's not necessarily the number of people killed or injured, although that's important. It's the fact that this is man made. This is people who have done this. Scumbags, but, and I'm using the plural because this may have been an individual, but there is absolutely more than one hate preacher out there who will have inspired this. And there's a lot of things to look at, but I'll make follow ups as more information comes through. But tonight, our thoughts, the politics of it is important. But tonight, our thoughts should be with those who are injured and lying in London hospitals. because even if they survive, they may have life changing injuries. And I think that's one thing that's sometimes forgotten in terrorist attacks, especially when we look at countries like Iraq and Syria and Pakistan, Nigeria. You hear of atrocities, 50, 60, 70 people killed, and those are horrendous figures. But then that doesn't even include the hundreds who will have been maimed and injured. And sometimes those are life changing injuries. So we'll leave it there. If you're in London, if you're in the area, let me know. Um, yeah, so there's a lot of things to think about there.